Hello, welcome back to Survival Saturday with Johnny Tiger on June 1st, 2024. Yeah, I've had a long day, been up since 7 this morning, and if I'm looking a bit disheveled, grumpy, more so than usual, that's why. But the show must be kept going, so today, I'm going to guide you guys through something that's very simple, but a lot of people have been having issues in my regular classes, so I thought I address it here because it's not immediately obvious why you may be experiencing this. Today, we'll be talking about the upward elbow. The upward elbow. Very simple movement. So this usually is done in the case where you maybe you just kick someone in the groin and then bend over and you come in boom with the upward elbow right into the face, right? Right into the face, right into the face. Or some people will combo it like I do into their punches when they are closing the distance. Usually you do one, two, boom, and the elbow come up. So one, two, boom, like that. And this basically will travel up the center of the body, hopefully, eventually catch them on the chin. But that, to be fair, the chance of that happening is very little, much smaller than what you're led to believe in most schools. Most schools tell you that you just like parry this way, go in, boom, and the fight is over, right? Not so. Because when you're in an actual fight where it's not choreographed, what's going to happen is the person's arm's always in the way. Okay? So for you to actually get that elbow in there, it's difficult. It's difficult. Like I've I can't even tell you how many sparring sessions and competition fights and uh, actual brawls and stuff like that I've gotten involved in 30 odd years. The amount of time I successfully get this in there, this upward elbow to actually hit something significant, can be counted on two hands. So it's like under 10 times. Okay, it's very difficult. Unless, like I said, you already did something like kick them in the groin, and then you go boom right in the face when they bend over. Okay, that is a lot easier. That is a lot easier. So, uh, first of all, this is a very hard elbow to practice on your own time because even if you have a stand-up punching bag or a punching target like Bruce here, there's not a lot of surface for you to do your upward hit. This is why when we hit the heavy bag, for those uppercuts, we end up having to just do body shots, right? Because without an actual horizontal target for you to do your uppercut, most of the time, what's going to happen is you're going to skim your knuckle, right? You're just barely skimming the surface of the bag because the bag is vertical, right? And you're not going to get a good uppercut or upward elbow or upward anything in there. So unless you have someone around to hold the pad for you, you have to sort of improvise and do something like what I did here. I got my old Dragon Boat paddle suspended on resistant band, a pull-out band, which is secured on Bruce's neck. So now this gives me a horizontal target to work with, like that. Okay, I still have to hold it with one hand. I still have to secure it with one hand because otherwise it's just going to bounce off and hit the wall or whatever, right? It's awkward. It's not ideal. So this is why this upward angle, upward elbow, uppercut, upper anything, a lot of people take years and years and still have issues with because it's just so hard to practice on your own time. You can shadow box and do the air, but that doesn't feel anything like the real thing. And you're always afraid to hurt your joint when you're shadow boxing, so you're holding back, right? And that will translate to when you get into a real fight, you will hold back. Okay. However, you practice in your daily life is, however, it's going to come out when you fight. There's no if, but, whatever about that. There's no question about that. When you get into a real fight, like when you're practicing this, you may think, okay, it's just a practice, so I'm going to go light, I'm going to go light, and then when I get into a fight, I'll be scared, I'll have adrenaline, I can go hard, right? And it's going to work. No, it's not going to work like that. When your muscle memory, when your brain um, start to kick in, when your muscle memory starts to kick in a fight, and your brain starts to shut down, and you're in that fight or flight instinct, what you practice 1,000 times is what's going to happen. Okay? You can't practice weak elbow 1,000 times and expect to throw a heavy elbow in an actual fight. It doesn't work like that. So now that we get that out of the way, we rig up our little practice pad. By the way, there are a lot of really good striking implements out there. I think Boss Rutten had a striking dummy uh, that can have the pad, hold the pad this way for you. It's like quite expensive, but for those who can afford it, it's much better than a punching bag because this way you can actually practice striking from different angle, kicking from different angle, rather than just a straight up and down pillar. Right? But now, because I don't have the money to invest in something like that, I have to make do. So we got this Dragon Boat paddle with a striking pad on it that we are going to use to demonstrate. Right? So, why do most people have problem with their upward elbow? Well, let's talk about what problem is the most common. Well, the most common is when you're practicing like this. After a while, after a while, your elbow is okay, your arm is okay, but your shoulder start killing you. Okay, this is rough on the shoulder joint. A lot of time, I hear even seasoned students, oh my God, this is so rough on the shoulder. When I hear you say that, then I know you're doing it wrong. Okay, because it's not supposed to. Like you shouldn't be feeling it in your shoulder hardly at all. Like maybe after 100 hits, a really hard hit, your shoulder will start to feel the impact. But it's not supposed to like have that, ow, I'm overusing my shoulder is burning, I got to shake out my shoulder like this. No, you're not supposed to feel that. Okay? When you feel that, doing it wrong. So how do we correct that? How do we make sure that we don't hurt our shoulder? First, let me tell you why when you use your shoulder, it's wrong. Because if you think about body mechanics and how most people are built, even someone like me who have really big upper body and a lot of upper body strength, put your elbow forward like this. So keep your elbow as close to your body as you can, and then move it forward so your hand is right by your face like this. Okay? This is usually your starting position. Some people start a little bit lower, but no. So you are going to go from here to up, so your elbow is almost lined up with your face. So that is your end position. Okay? So for most people, put your free hand on your elbow and push it down when you try to swing your elbow up. Okay, make that hand nice and heavy and see if you can. Okay, see if you can. I guarantee you, unless you have monster lats muscle, a monster shoulder, monster trap, and deltoid, you're not going to be able to. Okay, most human beings are not very strong this way unless you specifically develop monster muscles in those areas, like I said. Which means your elbow is not going to be very strong because if you're relying on these muscles to this motion, this is the most extreme you're going to get unless you're abnormally flexible. Okay, your elbow basically line up with your nose and chin. This is about as high as most people can go, which means by the time your elbow gets to halfway, it starts to slow down. Okay, your muscle is already reaching their limit, so your effective range is short. Your muscles are not very strong. Any kind of pressure on this elbow going to put massive strain on your upward momentum. Okay, this is why using your shoulder for this will never work unless you are built different from most normal people. Okay, another reason is that most people with big upper body, like myself, the lats and the pecs cause it awkward for the arm to come up center line like this. Okay, you got to really squeeze it in. Okay, but the moment you start tensing up, your elbow start going outward. Which means if you are forcing your elbow to travel up center line, you're fighting your own body mechanic. Your muscles fighting against your own muscles. So that creates even more drag. Okay, think of it like swimming. The more drag you are facing, the harder it is to get a good surge in the water. And throwing this elbow is the same way. Okay. So today I'm going to show you guys a couple of little tricks to work into your practice, and you will instantly notice. Number one, my shoulder doesn't hurt anymore. Number two, wow, my upward elbow is like a boss. I can hit like a boss with my upward elbow. Okay, just a couple of little adjustments that will help you guys do this. Okay, number one, rather than using your shoulder like this, don't lift like this. Okay, don't lift with your shoulder. This is not an overhead press. Okay, not an overhead press. Okay, overhead press is different because you can actually go up slowly and engage a lot of other muscles. This is a quick movement. It has to be explosive. Okay, so rather than lifting from the shoulder, just swing this elbow naturally back, forward, back, forward. Obviously, you won't do this in the fight. I'm just getting you guys to get used to this motion. While you're throwing your elbow, letting it swing naturally like this, back, forward, back, forward. I look like one of those old wind-up toy, I know. So while your elbow is going like this, back, forward, squat, stick your butt out behind you a little bit, like you are getting ready to do a bowling ball throw. Okay? Like you're ready to do a bowling ball throw. Okay? Boom. Okay? This is how you get that power into that upward elbow from your hip and your leg, not your shoulder. Not your shoulder. Your shoulder muscle shouldn't even engage other than locking your arm in place. Okay? So rather than, this is the difference. If I lift with my shoulder at the end of my arc, my body is like this, up and down, straight up and down. My chest is toward my opponent's chest. If I throw this properly with the hip and leg, boom, At the end, my body I should almost be looking at the ceiling. Okay, I should have that backward arch into that. Okay, your body should be arching back. You're almost looking up at the ceiling. You're almost on your tiptoe. Okay, that is the proper form for this. Boom. Okay, there's a twist at the hip. There's a twist at the ankle. There's a drive with the knee and hip. Okay, do this. Your legs might get sore if you are not in very good shape, but your shoulder shouldn't be sore. Okay, again, if you're feeling sore shoulder, doing it wrong. The second little tweak I'm going to show you guys is to, rather than throwing at a straight center line upward elbow, which I know a lot of coaches will harp on because it looks proper, convert this to a diagonal upward elbow. Okay, what do I mean? So I know my upper body is wide, so my elbow tend to flare. So for me, my elbow go straight up and down, not very good. But if I let my elbow out a little bit, look at the range I get. Boom, boom, I can lift it to my head level, right? From the side. So why would I do something that is unnatural to my body by going in this way when I can boom, just turn a little bit and bring that elbow up? You still hit the same target. In many ways, it's even better for you because when your body is this way, your profile is to your opponent, which means you're coming in like a blade. Okay, there's more clearance rather than, let's say my opponent have their guard out like this. If I come in like this, their arms in the way, right? If I go in for that center line elbow, there's a big chance I hit their arm before I hit anything vital. But if I twist into it, headset keep falling off. If I twist into it, there's a big chance of me clearing or going over that arm altogether. Change the angle when it doesn't work for you. A lot of time, a minor adjustment is all it takes. So, to recap, number one, use your hip and leg rather than lifting with your shoulder. Number two, don't get stuck on that face forward center line elbow. Okay, if it's not working, then twist to the side and bring it up diagonally. Thank you for checking out today's episode. I'll be back again tomorrow for Soul Search Sunday.